So I'm going to showcase a pretty insane run that I'm having tonight, using the base Skul Little Bone. He is generally very difficult to bring into the late game, because his kit is just pretty low ceiling in terms of its potential. He does have a pretty busted combo though, with an item called Mana Bone. Something that he can do that basically no other Skul can do is go near infinite on his casting of his skills, because his first ability throws his head, and his second ability teleports him to wherever he threw it. So whenever he picks up his head, the cooldown for his throw is reset, which means that you can end up infinitely casting skills, which is really good for things that proc off of skill casts. So there's this thing called Mana Bone that makes an AoE around you whenever you cast a skill, and less important to the combo, but still very useful, is Mage's Necklace, which makes a fireball whenever you cast a skill. Now, I have a second balance Skul here because the AoE is increased by another 70% if I have a second balance Skul increased, but I'm just using Little Bone here. I have Ravenlord, which 95% increase to magic damage is pretty huge. Master Fighter, Master Brawler combo is very, very strong. You have 70% increased damage if there's 4 or more, or if there's 2 or less, so you're pretty much guaranteed to have this. Ritual Staff increases my skill cooldown and my magic attack. Silver Wings is just insane mobility to help keep you alive. Infinite Bone, one of the best items in the game. Skills have a chance of resetting their cooldown. Manatech Circulator, skills decrease all skill cooldown by 1 second. And then in terms of my set bonuses, the only really relevant ones are Tactics, which is only at 3, because I have Priest Staff. Priest Staff, in my opinion, is the most run-changing item in Skul. There is no reliable way to heal, and there is no other way to heal when you're in a boss fight. There are ways to heal when you change maps, there are ways to heal when you kill enemies. There is no other way to heal when you're in a boss fight. And so Priest Staff is absolutely insane. When you combine it with damage reduction, it can take the worst player to being able to beat any boss. You know, if you have 100% damage reduction, or even a significant amount, and you're healing over time at low health, then you're basically invincible. So I picked this up because I don't have any damage reduction, and I'm sort of just trying to make sure that I don't die. But I'm going to be fighting the Act 4 mini-boss, which I haven't been keeping track of it, so I'm not actually sure which adventure it's going to be, but I'm hoping to be able to show how insane this run is. Oh yeah, this should be pretty easy. The warrior is the first one that I ever did, and so I'm not keep running into his shield. Alright, awesome. I think the only item that I'm really looking to replace is Manatech Circulator. At this point, I am not going to get a good set bonus for tactics, and my skill cooldown is already so low because of Infinite Bone and Ritual Staff, and just the fact that I am playing a low cooldown hero who resets his own cooldowns. It's already exceptionally low. We could get our Alchemist to Legendary, but honestly, I'm not even doing swaps, because Skull swap is very bad. In case this video is going to people who don't know about this game, I could explain a lot that probably doesn't make sense, but you can carry 2 classes at a time, and when you swap between them, they do an ability. Each class has like a unique ability for when they're swapped to. And the starting Skulls is probably one of the weakest ones in the game. I think there are some that are less impactful, but even those are usually just like static buffs. Skulls unfortunately locks you into, I can show you, locks you into this spinning attack. You can't cancel out of it. And it's pretty low power. It's good for the early game, it suffices, but it becomes a liability. And so I didn't even realize. I was wondering why. It's like my ability's not working. Doing a swap build with Little Bone. I keep calling him Skull because that's how he's named on the in-game menu, but his name is Little Bone. Doing a swap build with him, very bad. Very unsustainable. Not impossible. I think most things could be viable in this game. But this game is also very punishing, and it's very easy to die very quickly. Item's quite good, but doesn't really fit into my build. So I don't have any crit chance, but I'm hitting so often that I do wonder. Nah, most of these aren't even critting, so that's not good. That's quite impactful. I think I should take that. 100%. Yeah. I think that's the way. Definitely taking a few hits that I don't want to be taking, because again, these are not reliable ways to heal. You know, enemies enemies are dropping these orbs to heal me, which is quite relevant. But even though I have the priest staff, I don't have enough damage reduction to use it reliably. And so I want to be at as high of health as possible going into boss fights, because otherwise I'm risking just getting wiped from some damaging attacks. So I do need to be very mindful about my health. It's very easy in this game. I think if you haven't seen the game before, this run is definitely a bad representation of it in terms of typical difficulty. This is the fourth act of the game, but the final act where you have to fight waves of enemies throughout the chapter, throughout the act, and it's by far the hardest in terms of the enemies. They are much stronger than all of the other acts. I mean, second act is stronger than first, third is stronger than second, and so on, but I think most of the acts can be done reasonably easily, just through like cheese if you really wanted to. But I think the fourth act is really a check of, is your build good? One thing about this build is that it is creating a lot of information on the screen, and because of that, definitely makes it a little bit difficult to always be aware of... Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, I wasn't sure that the pillar was going to change directions. Definitely makes it pretty difficult to always know what's going on with this build. Okay, that was definitely a misuse of my... Alright, so she's gonna ult. Should do one more. Dang it, that was the first time I got hit. Those are definitely pretty dodgeable. Just, I think I got a little bit tilted after I got hit the first time. Sort of the nature of the game is that most things are dodgeable, and if you... Fuck! If I hadn't gotten hit, that would have been the no-hit, which I need the achievement for, but I got hit, so... Alas. Alright, so now we're going to be going to the fifth and final act of the game. It's also going to be the shortest act of the game. Dun, dun, dun. Let's leave like 3 rooms, 2 rooms of just these statue guys. And they could be beaten by Skul without any skills. He is... or Little Bone, rather, without any skills. They're very easy. They're super easy to stagger when you hit them with any attacks. You know, they're not... It's not impossible to get hit by them, but definitely on the easier side. So we're already full health. But we could actually get the buff here. Gives increased 30% increase to physical attack. I think that that is incredibly useless, and I'm just gonna not even bother. Alright. So final boss is definitely the hardest one for me. Not hard to beat if you have a good build. The right build, that is to say. I get hit very frequently when I fight him, and given that this game is a roguelike, I've also fought him the least because he's the final boss. So I've had the least number of runs where I've gotten to the end to fight him, and combination of his difficulty with my lack of practice against him makes him the hardest one for me to beat. So, well, definitely gonna give it a good old try. I think this build definitely has full potential in terms of damage to beat him, but I am going to need to dodge well and not fucking get hit a bunch of times. Although we are doing an exceptional amount of damage. So that's cool. Oh, that's alright, sir. I'm sorry. Please don't murder me. Oh, apparently he's invulnerable in that phase. Didn't know that. Alright, cool. That should be... That was a pretty good first phase. 40 health down. Could have been worse for sure, so definitely not displeased with that. This is the second of 3 phases, and I think undoubtedly the hardest one. He moves the quickest. He moves well. I think he moves the most erratically in this phase. I don't know, the first phase, well... Yeah, this phase is definitely the hardest. I do still have my life left, so I do have a respawn. I'm about to die. Oh my god, I'm not even gonna need to use it. This is so much damage. So much damage. I might get hit in the last phase though. If I wanted to, given that I have the priest staff, I could play like a little baby boy and just like run away from him while I heal up, but I do not enjoy playing like that, so given that I have a revive anyways, it would have been cool to beat it without using my revive though. But yeah, that is just an absolute trouncing of the final boss using this build with Little Bone. Again, I have a second guy equipped, but I'm only using Little Bone, or I'm only have him equipped for the Mana Bone buff. He's, in case anybody in the know is wondering why he's unique, it's because I started this run looking for living armor, which is the last thing I haven't brought to Legendary, and so I'd had a billion bones. And when I decided to, or finally picked up a balanced skull, I just upgraded it because I had the bones too. But alright, that will be all. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I don't make YouTube videos, but this was a good run and I wanted to document it, so. Okay. Goodbye.